Hello, Facebook Live. Marcus here. Hello, Instagram. Hello, YouTube. Hello, who is ever watching or whatever platform we put this on. Put it on several different platforms. Just want to take a couple of moments and just talk about the other side of the restaurant business, the other side of the restaurant industry, the other side of being a chef and a restaurateur that I discovered a while back that has sort of completed my career. This happened, I'm going to share a couple of stories about when I was a young chef and how I was taught to cook and what I thought being a successful restaurateur was, or a successful chef. So I want to start this off. By the way, if you're watching this live, drop a comment, #live, or where you're tuning in from, or on the replay, #replay. But I really like to know where people are tuning in from. So that's really awesome. So just drop a comment and say, hey, I'm in Hudson Valley, I'm in California, wherever. I really love to know where everybody tunes in from. We have a lot of fans all over, and it's amazing how far our content reaches. So I just want to share, I'm going to share a story now about when I was a young chef and how things come full circle, and really what has made my career fulfilling and satisfying. And again, I learned this when I was about 24 years old. So I got an email yesterday. I got an email from somebody who I have literally not spoken to in 20 years, maybe 17 years. So when I first opened, I think I spoke to this person and I was trying to do business with this person. I just couldn't. So it was a former sales rep sent me this email and goes, "Hi, Marcus. I see that you have blossomed into a great voice for the future of food and a watchdog for food quality. I just saw a Facebook post with you and Jamie about garlic and what the Chinese garlic are doing to it. Bravo. I've retired from XYZ seafood company and have pursued other dreams along with being immersed in the future of food." So when I'm in the area, I will definitely stop into your restaurant. This is somebody from Boston. I'll definitely stop in. Until then, best of luck to you and Jamie. This came from a sales rep that I have not literally bought from in 20 some years. Literally over 20 years. When I was in Colorado, I used this sales rep a lot. I used this company a lot, very reputable company. First, I introduced this company back in 1994 and been a big fan of them. But here in New York, we couldn't quite get their products or seafood, so we couldn't use them. But here's a sales rep that I have not spoken to in literally over 20 years, who has sent me a couple emails over the years, by the way. And I get emails like this from a lot of sales reps I've not done business with, just because we're in different geographic areas now. They don't cover here. But as a young chef, I remember I was 1999. I must have been, how old was I? 1999. I don't know. 25, 26, 27, 28. I don't know. So graduated high school in 91. So yeah, so 98. Yeah, there you go. 25, 26. So when I was in my mid to late 20s, I realized what my calling was, or actually what made me fulfilled as a chef. And what fulfills me as a chef is to know that I'm taking care of both sides of the equation. Because in culinary school, we're taught, and by chefs we're taught, and by our bosses we're taught, make the customer happy, make the guests happy, make the best food possible, make them happy, make them happy, make them happy, make them happy. And then we turn around and we look at our suppliers, the farmers, the sales reps, the companies, and then we're taught to abuse these people and to take advantage of these people, and to get the best deal on prices and to get the best service. You have to threaten these people, and you threaten our business and this and that. And I thought this was, total 360 of what we're doing to the guests. And we're still doing business with all of these people behind the scenes. So working at the Greenbrier in West Virginia and the Broadmoor, especially in Colorado, we were always taught about customer service, guest satisfaction, and hospitality to the max, right? So as a young chef, I'm thinking, why don't we do that approach on the people that we're buying products from? Why don't we do that to the people that are supplying us, the farmers, the sales reps, things like that? Like, as for an example, like when a wine rep comes in, I always feed them. I always give them food. I always feed them. I always sit down with them. I always, so it's a matter of just being respectful. And my next Forbes article, I've really thought about this now for the last probably 3 to 4 weeks. My next Forbes article, I want to do an article on your relationship with sales reps, if you're in the food service industry or any B2B, I'm sorry, B2C, business to consumer, but you have a B2B relationship with other people. I want to write an article on just the fact of having things come full circle and respecting the other side as well. Because I've seen a lot of chefs, I've seen a lot of owners, I've seen a lot of people that just downright abuse the suppliers they buy from. And as when this came full circle, I was in my mid to late 20s, and I remember in Colorado that we sat down with a bunch of farmers, and I've always been a fan of buying from small independent distributors. Distributors are independently owned, and I've always been a fan of that. So I've never done business with Cisco or US Foods or Alliant back then or Kraft Foods back then. They're all the same company now. So I've never done business with any of those big, massive conglomerates. Unfortunately, there's a few items that we have to buy from United Natural Foods right now, but our UNFI order keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller because these awesome organic companies are now distributing through smaller distributors. So that's really good news. But as a general rule, we don't buy from Cisco and we don't buy from US Foods, which are the two biggest companies in the country. I'm not saying they don't have good products. There's that loss of relationship when it comes to being able to talk to the higher powers to be, even the owners. It's nice to be able to go to a food show and see the owner and say hello to the owner of a company and see that the owner is there, be able to pick up the phone and call and speak to an owner. Even some of these companies we deal with are still doing, $100 million, $200 million, $300 million, or some of the companies we deal with do $15 million. So it's just really nice to know that these companies are independently owned. So when I was in Colorado, I made a point of that was where I started my quest as this farm to table quest, real food. And this is when that sales rep that sent me the email was actually when I would do business with him. And so they would ship product out to me and through Denver, through the airport, through Colorado Springs. I would get literally the freshest seafood in Colorado. I'd order it from Boston at 10 o'clock in the morning, my time, which was 2 hours ahead, which is noon. It would catch a 3 o'clock flight out of Boston, go to Denver, and then get shuttled down to Colorado Springs. And literally by 5:30, I could get same day delivered seafood from Boston that was landed that morning at the dock in Boston, went to the company, and then air freighted out on United Airlines right into Colorado Springs. Same day delivery from Boston. Caught that morning. We were getting hands down the freshest seafood in Colorado Springs. I mean, no other chef was doing that. And I had done that because I had a relationship with this company from a previous job. I started doing this in 98, 99. 99 was when I started doing this air freight, and I had a relationship with this company for 5 years already. And I wasn't even a chef at a place ordering, but I had a relationship with him. In fact, this company I've called a couple times. I haven't spoken to the sales rep, but he's been retired. But I call and I speak to one of the other higher ups there, and he remembers me from 20 years ago. And we have great conversations on sustainable seafood. And sometimes I call and ask them for advice and things like that. So it's really great. So, the whole point of this video is, as a chef, as a business owner, as a restaurateur, our goal is to provide amazing service, amazing food, which of course we're human. It doesn't happen all the time. But on the other hand, the other big equation to here is looking around at where our suppliers and they're just as human as the guest is that's sitting down at the table, and they deserve just as much respect. Now, granted, some sales reps are not for us, and we've had to get rid of some sales reps over the years. But in general, 80% of the sales reps are typically just awesome people that I've become friends with. That ask about my family, even delivery drivers that come and that deliver to the restaurant. There's a couple drivers from some companies we've been buying from for literally 15, 16 years. The same drivers come. They ask how my family is. They ask how my son is, how my daughter is. They ask all these kinds of questions. Some of them don't come to every single delivery, like once a month. They'll get it and rotate it on the route. And it's amazing just to have that kind of relationship building with all these people along the way. And Jamie and I always say we're relationship to table. Farm to table is a fantastic terminology, but relationship to table is really, really awesome. So we've met a lot of amazing people along the way, guests that have become very good friends. And we've made a lot of friends on the opposite end of sides that we're just very, very proud of. So that's the other side of the restaurant business that Jamie and I are very proud of, just all the relationships that we formed. And I learned back again in my mid-20s to never negotiate with a farmer. Farmers pour their heart and soul into their property. They do the right thing, local farmers, and they walk into restaurants with, you know, their produce, their meat, whatever, their cheese. And these chefs would just, I would hear all these chefs in Colorado Springs just bicker and negotiate prices with them. And when I heard other chefs doing that through these so-called professional organizations I belong to, I said, I'm not going to be the one that does that. I'm going to be the chef that gives the farmer what he deserves to make, what he deserves to make on the farm. And it's my job as the owner, as the chef, as the boss, to be able to then market the things properly, being able to tell you that they are local organic portobello mushrooms from 20 minutes up the road, and this is the farmer. And in fact, in Colorado, at the restaurant that I was a partner in, we actually even paid for an organic certification. One of the local farmers, Pete had about 2 acres of land that he would farm on, and you can get a lot of produce off of 2 acres, folks. It is amazing when you're doing crop rotating, doing organic, and doing the right thing, how much yield you can possibly get. And Pete supplied us throughout most of the year in Colorado. He had a couple greenhouses up, and the amount of lettuce, the amount of everything that he grew, raspberries, it was literally insane. And we took everything Pete could grow, 100%. We took everything. And as a gift to Pete, we paid for his organic certification, something he didn't need. He was doing it anyway, but he didn't need his organic certification because he sold everything anyway. But we just respected what he had done, and we had conversations with him. And he's like, I don't really need it, but I'm doing it. It'd be nice to have it. And so as a gift to Pete, we actually paid for his certification. So that was really awesome. That was when I first started working with a lot of the farmers in Colorado. And I brought that same philosophy back here. And right now, if you go on our website, you can actually go to our website and click on the bottom where it says Farm Connect. And you can see a lot of the farmers that we buy from on a pretty much year-round basis. Like literally before I started this video, we just got local beef in the door, local cheese, local apples, local mushrooms, some local herbs, and then local carrots. We just literally got 5 or 6, 7 different local items in from this one farm hub just right now. And then later in the week, we have another farm hub coming with more local things. Our chicken comes local from northern New Jersey now. So it's really awesome. All these connections and all these networks and all these people that are there producing this amazing food. So my philosophy from the day one is never negotiate with these people, just with the farmers, just, you know, respect what they do, and it's my job to sell. So yeah, just wanted to go on a couple minutes and share that email that I got from an old sales rep that emailed me, that saw our stuff on Facebook. And when Jamie and I go to the food shows a lot, there's sales reps there that we don't do business with because they're out of our area now, that, you know, we'll talk and we'll give a hug to and say hello and how's the family and everything. It's an awesome feeling to be able to know that part of our business is as complete as the front part of our business. So both sides, the B2B, business to business, and the business to consumer, that we've gapped the circle in there. That's all I wanted to say today. Folks, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. It's National Pizza Day coming up. This Sunday is National Pizza Day. I'm going to go on live tomorrow or later today and give away $50 gift cards for anybody who suggests a pizza that we're going to use on National Pizza Day, which is this Sunday. We're going to have tons of pizza specials. So if you're going to recommend a pizza for National Pizza Day that we use, we'll give you away, I don't know, we'll see, maybe $25 gift cards, maybe $50 gift cards. I'm not sure yet, but maybe we'll give away several of these gift cards. But we'll definitely be giving something away to people that are telling us what pizza we should run this Sunday for National Pizza Day. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And stay tuned for the next Facebook Live. We'll be talking about a lot more things. Stay tuned. Don Staniford is coming on in the next couple of days or so. He's feeling under the weather. He's in Scotland on the front lines of the seafood farms. Somebody also emailed me. I got an email I have to respond to about Orca king salmon raised in New Zealand. It's farm-raised salmon. It's the same as all the other salmons. It's open pen. It's in the ocean. It's being fed the same toxic feed. It has sea lice. It has all the associations with everything. They're just putting it in a different place in the southern hemisphere in New Zealand, salmon. The only difference is wild salmon aren't from New Zealand. They aren't from the southern hemisphere. That's the one thing about salmon farms or wild salmon. Wild salmon is a northern hemisphere fish. It's not a southern hemisphere. So they're not putting in the migratory path of the wild salmon. So it's not killing off the wild salmon stocks. but it is still spewing out lice and feces and all that kind of stuff into the ocean and cross-contaminating, and they're still having problems with other sea life that try to get in and eat the fish, and fish still die, and there's a mortality rate and all that kind of stuff. So orca king salmon, it's farmed salmon, folks. It's from New Zealand. It's plain old farmed king salmon. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing special about any of the farmed salmon that come from the open pen systems out there that are happening. So I'll do more videos on that as well. And Don Staniford is going to talk about Scottish salmon and expose that whole thing, which is a disaster. Scottish salmon is deemed as some of the best farmed salmon in the world, and it's not. You talk to people on the front lines, and they will tell you, the people who live in these communities, what a horrific experience it is to live next to salmon farms. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.